Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. Widespread panic ran through Queenstown Airport last week after a bomb threat was made. Havoc ensued after the threat, causing mass evacuations and flight cancellations until disposal experts could determine what the mystery package contained.
Travellers going through the Queenstown Airport had a scare this morning after a bomb threat sparked an evacuation. Hundreds of passengers had their travel plans interrupted as explosive experts worked to defuse the situation.
Not too bad, no, just need to be back at work on Monday, so there's been a small update and then the flight's just now been changed to 3:30 from 2:30, but obviously you can't get into the airport.
This isn't how eager Globetrotters expected their travel experience to go. Passengers were ushered off a grounded plane and people evacuated from Queenstown Airport before 9 on Friday morning as emergency services responded to a bomb threat. 15 Air New Zealand flights were cancelled, with one turning around mid-flight to return to Christchurch. The New Zealand Defence Force Ordnance Disposal Unit arrived at the international airport just after 2 p.m, attending to what appeared to be an explosive device, later deemed to not be a threat. Around 200 passengers were taken to the Queenstown Event Centre to wait out the disruption and provided with food, water and activities. The airport reopened at around 3 this afternoon as an international flight from Sydney touched down as the terminal doors opened. In Queenstown, the South today.
Police investigations are looking into a group of Otago University students after details of sick and twisted flat initiations come to light.
A group of first-year students were forced to bite off the legs of live ducks as part of a vicious alcohol-fuelled initiation into their flat for next year. One of the students involved says he blacked out by 1 in the afternoon from the copious amount of alcohol he was forced to drink before passing out, waking up hours later with a shaved head in the Botanic Gardens. The well-known traditions are thought of as a rite of passage in Dunedin, where second years haze the incoming group who would be moving into their flats the following year. Otago University has been trying to crack down on initiations, with the proctor visiting flats identified as likely hosts and giving them advice. But the warnings seem to have been ignored by the students, with stories already leaking of disgusting alcohol and vomit-related punishments this year. And ducks aren't the only animals being targeted for the heartless acts. A video emerged of 4 students holding a live eel above their heads as a trophy during an initiation earlier this week. The university says they have undertaken proactive prevention and education work to curb these incidents and have informed police who are looking into the vile acts. In Dunedin, the South today.
A black rescue helicopter flew into Invercargill earlier this week, but this time it wasn't for a life-saving mission. The Otago Southland Rescue Helicopter Trust is an important part of the southern health system, but the team say they need more funding to stay up in the air.
Making a grand entrance in Invercargill and showing off the power of their chopper. Around 60 people attended a function for the Otago Southland Rescue Helicopter Trust on Monday, including business leaders, mayors and funding and service representatives. Chairman of the Rescue Helicopter Trust, Martin Dippy, flew from Taieri with Helicopters Otago CEO Graham Gale for the event, stressing the importance of fundraising for the cause.
It's a very important part of the whole network of the health system in the lower part of the South Island, and without this, you end up with direct access to intensive care staff that we bring on board. We bring in intensive care paramedics.
The rescue organisation is run by volunteers. Their goal is to raise up to $1.5 million to meet the shortfall between government funding and the cost of operations. The service was formally named the Otago Rescue Helicopter Trust, adding Southland to its title to reflect its regional scope.
We're here trying to innovate and keep the helicopters flying in as many possible situations as we can.
Dippy believes the Southern Rescue Service is a lifeline, particularly for isolated rural areas, and says he's thankful for the strong support from the wider community. In Invercargill, the South today.
There was a picket outside the Otago Daily Times building in Dunedin recently after union members employed by Allied Press walked off their jobs to protest for better pay.
Frustrated journalists and sub-editors held up signs and chanted calls on Tuesday morning outside the Otago Daily Times office on the corner of Stewart and Cumberland Streets. The Air 2 union says more than 40 members from Dunedin to Invercargill were taking part in the day-long strike action, calling on their employer to bring their wages in line with industry pay rates. The union says it's unhappy with the offer currently on the table for a new collective agreement. Allied Press CEO Grant McKenzie says he's disappointed with the strike and believes the company's offer addressed the cost of living issues and high inflation. The company says it'll still be producing all its print titles, although there may be delays for some community papers. In Dunedin, the South Today.
As the final week of New Zealand's election campaign got underway, political tensions were ramping up across the regions. In Dunedin, the highly anticipated Otago candidates meeting brought laughter and promises, with the moderator lightening up proceedings, dressed like a Dr. Seuss character.
It's a debate that tries to be a little different from the norm, combining topical politics with a bit of whimsical comedy. More than 200 people packed into Otago Church on Sunday night for the Otago Dunedin election candidates meeting, a regular fixture on the calendar. It's Dunedin's best-known political gathering, moderated by retired ODT editor and journalist Philip Somerville. He was dressed in his usual cat-in-the-hat ensemble as he grilled the politicians.
As you cast your vote, what would you do if your mother asked you?
Candidates and party representatives from the Dunedin electorate took to the stage to answer burning questions, with the meeting including politicians from Labour, National, New Zealand First, Greens, TOP and an independent. Rachel Brooking is currently a Labour Party list MP, but is hoping to step into the shoes of sitting Dunedin MP David Clark. She was keen to confirm her party's promises around the new Dunedin hospital build.
We are building that hospital as we've said we would, and keeping to our track record of building the infrastructure that we say we do.
Current National List MP Michael Woodhouse was noticeably absent from the Dunedin debate, with the list-only candidate James Christmas instead stepping in on his behalf. Independent candidate Jim O'Malley also pleaded his case, backing the Dunedin City Council's net carbon zero plan and criticising the government's 2050 target.
I think that the national target should be 2030. You target it. If you don't meet it, you've certainly come a long way down, and you'll certainly hit it by 2035 or 2040. 2050 gives you an opportunity just to wait. And I think that's always the issue when you put a target that far out.
Green Party co-leader Marama Davidson made a surprise appearance, filling in for the party's Dunedin candidate Francisco Hernandez, who was sick, while ACT's candidate Tim Newman was out of town. The political event was one of the last formal candidate meetings in the final week of the campaign. Early voting is already underway, with Election Day itself taking place this Saturday. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on Southern Newsweek. Some newly planned marine reserves look set to protect Otago sea life, but not everyone is on board. And forklift operators get in the driver's seat to showcase their skills ahead of a national competition. Tēnā koe, welcome back. Plans for 6 new marine reserves off the Otago coast is being hailed by some, but slammed by others. Environmental advocates say the national parks of the sea will become a huge asset to Dunedin. However, it has left parts of the fishing industry furious.
It's a big day for marine conservation in New Zealand. After a decade of planning, Conservation Minister Willow Jean Prime has announced the creation of 6 new maritime reserves off the southeast coast of the South Island. They're the first marine reserves created in the country in almost 10 years, stretching from the Waitaki River all the way down to Watson's Beach near Milton. Fisheries Minister Rachel Brooking spoke at the announcement on Thursday, saying the new reserves are just the first step in creating a network of marine protection in the area.
We have to have a very strong marine environment to enable our mokopuna to also have fish in the sea.
Southeast Marine Protection Forum Chair Marie Baker-Galloway says getting the 6 national parks of the sea over the line was a challenging but rewarding moment for her and the team.
There were thousands of hours and thousands of kilometres driving up and down the coast, meeting with people.
But the announcement wasn't music to everyone's ears, as many people within the fishing industry believe the Otago marine area isn't at risk or under pressure.
There are still plenty of places to fish, but this is important because of what is under the water and how significant it is for marine biodiversity.
Many from the fishing industry argue the announcement of the 6 new maritime reserves will affect their export value, expressing the plan was anything but collaborative. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Some of the South Island's best forklift operators were showing off their skills last weekend. More than 30 drivers from Foodstuffs South Island competed in a range of obstacle courses, with 2 prized spots at the National Champs up for grabs.
Small tennis balls being delicately ferried around an obstacle course by a giant machine. Around 30 forklift operators were competing at Foodstuffs South Island Distribution Centre in Christchurch over the weekend, with the prize of 2 spots at the National Championships up for grabs to the best of the bunch.
For us here, it's a great opportunity for recognising the team and the work they do. A bit of fun, but also taken very seriously. The guys are very proud of what they do.
Foodstuffs says it's the largest user of forklifts in the South Island, boasting a fleet of more than 105 forklifts. Operators competed in 2 competition categories aimed at testing their abilities and precision, counterbalance and high reach.
Well, a lot of the skills obviously get trained by the team here, but that ability to be able to control your machine, use the fine touch and also the peripheral vision to negotiate the course and the handling of the equipment itself.
Foodstuffs South Island opened their brand new 25,000 square metre distribution centre in Hornby in 2014. Here 1,200 staff on site sort up to 1 million packages every week.
We're really busy at the moment and we're in the run into Christmas and got the planning going, so big site here, a lot of people.
Barnes says the competition showcased a strong set of skills by the experienced operators. He's confident the 2 Christchurch winners will go on to be strong contenders for national honours at the New Zealand Championships early next year. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Dunedin drivers might soon be forced to drive a little slower as plans for widespread reductions in traffic speed limits across the city gets underway. Supporters say the aim is to reduce danger and have less accidents on the streets and roads, but many motorists want to hit the brakes on the proposed changes.
Proposed changes to these speed limit signs are dividing opinions among many people and might take some time getting used to. The Dunedin City Council is looking to reduce the speed limit on a number of roads around the wider city. Some could be cut as low as 30 kilometres per hour, while others would drop from 100 to 60 k's. Scott Witherall is Deputy Chairman of the Saddle Hill Community Board. He's among the more than 1,500 people who've made submissions to the council, calling for some speed zones to stay as they are.
What we see is, especially on roads that you can actually drive reasonably safely at a more comfortable speed, motorists start to become a bit frustrated.
Dunedin community boards have been actively working with the City Council, suggesting possible changes and adjustments to the original proposals. Witherall says while he supports speed restrictions in some places, like around schools, he insists there needs to be a fair compromise between the 2 parties.
We can't argue the goal is a zero road toll. We absolutely want that as well. But the reality is we've got to work with the community, we've got to work with the motorists, but also all the road users now. Feedback from Dunedin residents continues to flood to council regarding the proposed speed limit changes, with public hearings set to take place early next week. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A central Otago town was dressed to the nines in pink recently as large crowds took to the streets celebrating a good cause. Cromwell residents painted the town red with a splash of white, raising awareness about breast cancer while showing their support to survivors.
Cromwell locals looking pretty in pink, walking the streets to celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Over 100 people and their pets took part in the Pink Ribbon Walk on Sunday, taking on the 5-kilometre trek along the lakefront from the boat club to Old Cromwell. For organiser Anthea Lawrence, The event hits close to home after being diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer early this year, but was excited to see the positive turnout and support of the day.
I did not believe that there'd be this many people, and I'm really humbled, and it's so amazing to have this many women and men and dogs and kids show out in force in pink today.
Lawrence recently finished up her chemotherapy early, with her tumours either disappearing or halving in size, taking on her own advice by maintaining positive emotions and looking on the bright side. She advises women to constantly check themselves for lumps to catch any early signs, believing it could save their lives.
Any indication of anything, change in your breasts, get it checked out, just go to your doctor. They're there to help, and it's better to catch things early.
The Pink Ribbon Walk not only helped raise awareness of the disease, but also raised over $2,000 for the New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation. In Cromwell, the South Today.
A Queenstown preschool is packing up all its toys, ready to move into its new home. Placenta staff started settling into their newly renovated classroom earlier this week, hoping to cater to the continuing growth in population in the resort town.
Moving in to help grow the minds of the next generation. Queenstown's Placenta moved from their old Stanley Street location on Monday after being there for over 30 years, settling into their new home next to the Queenstown Primary School. The childcare centre has been closed for 3 weeks in preparation for the move, but are now all ready for business in their recently renovated classroom.
But you know, this doesn't happen by accident. It wasn't sort of, one morning, poof, magically this place appeared. And there are lots of people who have put hours and hours of hard work into making this happen.
The new Placenta offers all the toys and activities needed for preschool children. 15 young families already signed up to the centre, which is just over half their capacity, with them expecting more to join in the future.
It's actually very important to Queenstown itself. As things get bigger, brighter and shinier, we're still grounded in what actually means the most to us, and that's our young kids.
The old Stanley Street site will likely become a temporary car park before being transformed into a local purpose reserve as a part of the Queenstown Lakes District Council's long-term plan. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Whaiakane, still to come on Southern Newsweek. A popular Canterbury thermal pool preps for a fun new addition as some lucky school kids line up to test it out. And South Island petrol heads make their way down the country for a rural rally. Tēnā koe, welcome back. There was excitement recently at Hanmer Springs Thermal Pools as the complex officially opens its new $3.2 million state-of-the-art hydroslides. 60 eager children from Lincoln Primary School were given the tough job of testing them out after winning a competition to be the first members of the public down the slides.
These excited youngsters are making a splash.
It's awesome!
The children were among 60 lucky pupils from Lincoln Primary School who won a competition to be first down Hanmer Springs' 2 brand new attractions. These high-tech hydro slides are the first of their kind in New Zealand.
Some fabulous technology. We've got LED lights, we've got LED lights that pulse, we've got rings that happen around the slide, and some movie projection as well.
The state-of-the-art hydro slides replace the 25-year-old green and brown slides which millions of thrill seekers have slid down over the years. Huranui District Mayor Marie Black was on hand to do the official honours of opening the $3.2 million council-funded project on Wednesday morning, although she didn't try the slides herself.
It provides another critical boost to the local economy, providing more jobs, more tourism and increasing growth for our local businesses.
Black says pre-COVID the pools attracted more than 500,000 visitors per year and expects numbers to hit those heights again thanks to the new attraction. It took 2 years to design the new slides, named Violet Vortex and Waiā Winder, followed by 6 months of construction.
Another milestone. One of the things we've done over the years is continue to refreshen our offering to make it exciting for people to come. We've had our other slides have been fabulously received, and now something new and innovative. It's great.
Abbott says Hanmer Springs has a loyal base market from the Christchurch area and is looking forward to welcoming a large contingent this weekend to try out their newest aquatic attractions. In Hanmer Springs, the South Today.
Speedsters from across the South Island were revving up their engines last weekend, taking to the rural roads of Southland to show off their skills. The Wyndham Rally kicked into high gear with a nod to a prominent figure in the local racing scene.
Skidding into action and leaving the competition in the dust. Southland played host to the inaugural MLT Barry Robinson Memorial Wyndham Rally on Saturday, with 51 drivers revving to go, travelling from as far away as Nelson. The rally was held on the rural backroads near Wyndham, the dirt and dust proving challenging terrain for competitors and their co-drivers.
There's some very fast roads. Definitely being on the passenger side of the car was a very, very great day. Just a lot of skids, a lot of fun, just throwing the car around, just loved it.
Race namesake Barry Robinson was a long-time competitor of the Eastern Southland Car Club, leaving a lasting legacy after he died last year. He was an inspiration to Gore Rally driver Andrew Graves, who won the weekend competition alongside his son and co-driver Hayden.
Growing up as a kid, I always looked up to him, and he always kept an eye on us too once we started our motorsport career, so yeah, really, really chuffed to take this away.
Only 45 drivers managed to complete the tough race. Rally Secretary Roger Laird grateful to the local community who allowed the event to hit the roads. In Wyndham, the South Today.
Lasers, spinning rides, lights and music were all part of a colourful show in North Canterbury recently. Thousands turned up for the Main Power Light Festival, a popular annual event in Rangiora.
After a 2-week delay caused by bad weather, the switch was finally turned on for this year's Main Power Light Festival. The first night of the annual event in Rangiora was held on a balmy, warm North Canterbury evening. More than 10,000 visitors attended the 2-day festival, which ran across Friday and Saturday nights in Victoria Park. The festival offered a light and sound wonderland, which included a fairyland of laser lights, neon and disco lights, and interactive lighting displays. There was also plenty to keep visitors occupied, with glow toys on offer, food stalls, a popular Super Trooper ride, and roving entertainers with live music. Organiser Carl Howarth says there are several things that make the Rangiora-based Main Power Light Festival very unique.
Uniqueness is that we've got a beautiful park, really good community, so we do something that's a bit cosier than one of those big, huge ones in town. And we do a mixture of local suppliers, local market stalls, local bands, local food trucks, and yeah, we try and make it a real community affair.
Friday's show was held in perfect conditions, and despite wet and windy conditions early in the day, Saturday night show still attracted several thousand happy spectators. In Rangiora, the South Today.
Most New Zealanders would have no problem pointing out Gore on a map, but a North Island mayor may need a little help. The Gore District Council has cheekily clapped back against Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown with a video following his comments about the rural town on national television.
Gore Mayor Ben Bell showing his comedic side as he takes viewers on a tour of what he deems as his rural city. The Gore District Council released this video on Thursday, hitting back against Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown's slander of the Southland town. Brown appeared ignorant of Gore's location in an AM show interview earlier this week, before suggesting it was so quiet you could probably park a logging truck down the main street.
Cameron mate, I don't think you can park here. Well, it's obviously too busy down here. Oh yeah, true. Oh well, Wayne Brown said it's okay.
But Bell chose to take Brown's remarks on as a challenge, enlisting a local truck driver to drive him around the top spots of the nation's country music capital. The banter was flowing as the pair planned a Gore tour for the Auckland mayor, but Bell couldn't resist chucking in a few digs himself.
We've got a few Aucklanders back here, haven't we? Especially after Wayne got elected. Yeah.
The satire clip received positive feedback on social media, with the video ending with "Don't be like Wayne Brown, come to Gore." Wayne Brown has yet to comment on the video. In Gore, the South Today.
That wraps up this edition of Southern Newsweek. For the latest news and videos from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube and the South Today NZ on Facebook to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again next week. Mā te wā.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.